So I'm with Nick Field, who's the senior pastor at the Street Church in Wellington. Nick, thanks for being willing to share this time to discuss the impact of COVID-19 on your church. And thanks too for letting me record this interview.
Pleasure.
Great. So my first question is, how would you describe your church family?
So it's made up of, it's in the centre of Wellington and also out in Miramar. We have a couple of locations. So we're probably a larger church in New Zealand, and we run 4 services on a Sunday. Age ranges from 0 through to 80 plus. A lot of young adults, a lot of families, and workers. Being in Wellington too, you have a lot of people involved in the government sector. So it's probably a relatively well-off, stable church environment. But more than that, it's a group of people who I think have been captivated with the mission of the gospel, which is to help people become total followers of Jesus Christ. And whether that's someone who's in the corporate world, or it's a student who's studying, or it's someone who's on the building site, that's our goal, and I think we're seeing a lot of people with that sort of passion in mind.
Fantastic. So when we went into lockdown 5 weeks ago now, what was the biggest challenge you faced?
Just the immediacy of the lack of everything that we were doing. We had no real online presence. So we ran our Sunday services. Our life groups were meeting during the week. Our youth were, they'd meet on Friday night. All of the classic things that you would do as a church were happening. Youth were looking forward to the big Easter camp that was coming up. There was all of that was going on. And within 48 hours, we had to go from everything being an in-person in a service or some other gathering through to doing it online. So we reinvented ourselves a couple of times. We, of course, had a weekend in between the level, don't meet together, and then the complete lockdown. So we did one Sunday where we did a live stream from inside our auditorium. A group of us went in there and did that. And then the following week, of course, that announcement on the Monday into total lockdown. And so we had to scurry around and work out how to then do some kind of live service, when we're in our homes. So we had to get that. We also had to work out how to do life groups and youth and children. And so we focused on providing a Sunday service, making sure the youth had something which they could really engage with, making sure the children had something they could engage with, and that there was the life group communities, which are really the backbone of the church, were running. So it was a pretty intense week.
Indeed. So as we've gone through this process and you've had a bit more time to think about it, what have been the most important things for you to focus on with the church?
I think the biggest one that we paid attention to was the care and connection, and we wanted people to be safe. We wanted people to feel supported, and so we worked hard, and the team did a phenomenal job at helping people connect, and again in those life groups. And a lot of people were in life groups anyway, so we made sure that the life group leaders could be strengthened to run online. Using Zoom or Google Hangouts or whatever it was. And so they were doing that. We made sure that was possible. We then started looking at those people who were on our database who weren't in life groups. And so we were contacting them. A number of them, in fact, a good portion of them are actually now in life groups, which has been a nice sort of side blessing. And then going even further, and we were able to then just make contact with people we hadn't even seen for a while. Some of them have moved out of Wellington, so it's a nice way to tidy up your database. But other ones too it was just a great opportunity to reconnect with them. So getting that in place was probably our first priority. The most public priority was making sure that the online Sunday service and children's programs were working, and again the Friday night for the youth. So it was putting attention into those and making sure that people felt supported.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it may be that New Zealand won't be able to return to 2019 normal within 12, 18 months. What impact do you think this will have on how you do church and how you understand the mission of the church?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I think the way that church has been run um, always leads to the potential for it to be a little bit more of a spectator sport, and it's very focused around the pastor up the front and the worship team, those sorts of things. What we're seeing and thinking we're seeing and wanting to check out to make sure we are seeing is that when people are meeting their life groups, a lot of those things that used to be done by the pastor are now being done by the life group leader. And I think it's changing potentially changing the essence of how our churches can work. And if we're like this for 18 months, even sort of level 2, level 1, we can't actually have big gatherings. The focus on supporting and training people who are leading those small groups, I think, is going to become exponentially more important. What it's also done is it's opened up the front door to church a lot wider than it was before. We've already had some beautiful stories of people who have never been to church, who have come online, in fact, have given their life to Christ. And that to me is, wow, we've never seen that coming. And it's how we now connect those people into a community and help them grow as a disciple of Jesus. So I actually think that this is going to be one of those situations where if we really are light on our feet, the potential to impact our nation with the gospel is actually going to increase and not decrease.
That's great. So would it be fair to say you have hope for the future?
Oh, totally. It's somebody once said, don't waste a good crisis. And I think, we are in a crisis. We know that we have to reinvent. I think we need to look at this with spiritual discernment. I think we won't know. Well, right now we don't know what the next 6 to 12 months are going to be, and that's, I think, from an economic perspective, from a health perspective, from a social impact perspective, and I think all of those are going to surprise us. I think there will be waves of change which will come through, and so for churches, we need to be again paying attention to our cash flow and our forecasting and looking at it, saying, well, this is how I've currently operated. Well, what would happen if our income went down by a third or went down by a half? How would we operate? How would we actually create a missional impact with less resource than what we have? And then you look at the opportunities that will come and what's going to happen if there is high unemployment. What's the voice of the church into that, and how can we be involved with that and help the church actually make a difference in people's lives? So I think it's a matter of just being really open, being attentive. That adage of understand the times and then seek the Lord to work out what to do.
That's fantastic. So thanks for sharing these thoughts with me. I really appreciated your time, and look forward to seeing how it's going to work out at the street.
Brilliant, Bruce. Thanks for all you're doing, so it's a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you.